Alright, so sorry for this crude map again. I haven't gotten the one from the judges, and I'm trying to get them for the rest of the season. They did say they would get them to me, so I will do my best to grab those so I can do a little bit better of a job explaining it. So this is the straightaway or driving in. There's a chicane for the lead driver, and that's in order to minimize the drag race down the straightaway. And it does a really good job at this track, I believe. So, as you can see, I taped two pens together to keep my hand out of the shot. Yeah, killing it. Super high tech here. So basically you drive down the straightaway as fast as you can. There's a break in the wall here, which you'll see. And there's 3, 2, 1 cone. They want you initiated by the 1 cone at the latest. In the follow position, you can initiate slightly later than the lead driver to drive up on their door, but the judges did express that they'd rather see you initiate at the same spot of the track. So if the driver 1 comes in and initiates here, they want the same driver 2 to initiate at the same time, not later in the turn. And you have to be initiated by the last cone to get full points. You throw it in. Most people use clutch kick to handbrake here. Some people just use handbrake. You get the car sideways. There's no inner zone here, so you're just mid-track, and there's a touch and go at this part of the track right here. And the touch and go is basically just a whole section where you just need to get out to the wall. They give you some leeway, so that way, depending on how your car's set up or different things, you can get the wall here, 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 anywhere in that section. They just want you out to it. Right after the bridge and under the bridge is the first outer zone. And then you're going to hit that outer zone, throw as much angle as you can, and the judges' tower is here. So that's going to be your second outer zone. And then there's another touch and go in this area here, right before the last turn. And then the only inner clip on the track is in the last turn, slightly off to be a later apex. And then they want you to finish out on the wall. So that's pretty much a lap at Long Beach. So I thought it would be a good idea to show you what the judges thought was the #1 qualifying run and dissect that. Even though we're doing tandem today, they want you to drive a 100-point lead run. So this will be showing what you're supposed to do.
Formula Drift app available
so
for iTunes and Android.
Initiation at the last cone, but that's allowed. Drives out to the touch and go, bam, nicks it. Comes out again, nicks the outer zone, and then drives all the way out to the judges' outer zone as well. The touch and go here, gets all the way out to it, pretty good angle, and nicks that inner clip pretty much perfect. So as you can see there, for that run, it was super solid. It had tons of angle, tons of aggression, got all the touch and goes and outer zones really well, and that's why it was a 97-point score. So that's what the judges are going to want to see out of lead runs. So I don't usually go over the top 32. For this event, I didn't make top 16, and a lot of people were asking about my run, so I'm going to go ahead and show that now. The live stream did mess up, so I don't know if they've edited this or not. We'll see. It was my job to follow first, so Tuerck led first in the S15. So he's going to go through the chicane. I'm able to power up alongside of him, initiate at the same point. As you can see, I'm right there on his door, right where I need to be. There's about 2 feet maybe between the cars, but I am right at his front wheels, just basically where I need to be. On throttle through here, you can see I have a little bit more angle than him, but I'm still have great proximity. So I have a little bobble here, and what that's doing is that's me removing angle because he's starting to pull away. As you can see now, there's, my front tire is at about his rear tire. He's not quite out on the touch and go here, so that's going to be a big deduction for him. So I'm just kind of staying right where I need to be, but I had to remove some angle to drive up to his door. And I'm able to do so. I let him transition first. As you can see in my front tire, I'm actually transitioning as well. We have a good transition through here. I'm back up on his door because I was able to remove some angle. And I loop it. So what happened there was I ended up removing some angle. As you can see in this section right here, so that I can catch up. But what that did was it threw me off in this first actual outer zone. So I transition, and it's just too much. You can see how hard the flick is. While this right here looks great, I'm already pretty much in big trouble. I throw the car to as much angle as possible to try to save it, but it doesn't quite happen. I end up looping it. I smash the gas as hard as I can at the last second to pull me away from the concrete wall, so I catch the tire wall instead. But it was just a big mistake on my end. So now on the lead run, to give you guys a little insight of what's going through my mind, obviously I had to spin, so that's going to be an incomplete run, which is also a 0, but this year they're calling them incomplete runs. So instead of playing games or doing anything stupid to mess up our follow driver, my decision was to run a 100-point qualifying run with as much angle as possible and just basically do the craziest run I physically can to A, get the most points possible as the lead driver, but to B, also kill him with kindness kind of deal. So just back it in as much angle everywhere, drive the most crazy run I can so that he thinks I'm going to crash the whole time. Now, you can say that that's playing games, but to me, that's just driving like 150% and driving as hard as you can. So we'll see this run here. So I throw it in, good angle, and I start burying the angle here. Get out to the touch and go, give it a bump, come out here again, back it up. He's kind of choked up on the inside there. As you can see, I got all the way out to the touch and go. I actually touched it a minute ago. And then he's on the inside. This is a bad place to be, pretty shallow. I transition, back the car up onto the outer zone here. He's stuck on the inside in no man's land because this run is just, I'm going so deep if you watch the back tires. Tons of angle as far as I can. I do miss this touch and go by about 2.5 feet. Could have been better there. But I just back it in as much angle as possible everywhere. I come into this last turn, use a little bit of foot brake, handbrake, back the car up around the clip. I didn't necessarily hit this clip correctly. I was definitely supposed to hit it going across it this way, but I ended up hitting it going this way, so that was less than ideal. I'm still kind of learning the car, and whatnot. But so I do believe that was a really good lead run, probably one of the best lead runs I could have. Not playing any games, not doing anything stupid, but Peter didn't make any mistakes behind me, so any 0 or incomplete run mistakes, so he ends up getting the win there.
Different weapon. All right, so you have to assume they're going to slide right, and there it is.
All right, so this is top 16. We have Von Gittin Jr. and Deane Kearney. Deane Kearney is in a Viper. Von's in a the same Mustang as my car.
On media day, I believe.
All right, so you'll see Von go through the chicane there, initiate in at the second cone for initiation. There's a third one here. Can't quite see it. Throws it in. Pretty good angle. Deane's very close, but with less angle. He's already on throttle while Deane hasn't gotten there yet. So you'll see Von shoot away from him here with giving him about a 1.5 car gap. Von gets out to the touch and go while Deane is very shallow, about 10 feet off of that. Not necessarily in a passing or poor position, but he's at the inside of the car, about even with his front tires. Von flicks it in again, misses the touch and go by about 3 feet. Deane is actually deeper on the touch and go, but getting in a position where he can drive into Von's door here. About a car gap everywhere through here. Von has very good angle while Deane is lacking there. Into the last turn. Von makes it around the clip just fine. Deane ends up kicking it out of the way and finishing the run pretty strong. I would say Von had a pretty textbook lead run, pretty close to his qualifying run, did everything he was supposed to do. Deane had some spots where he was close, but not necessarily, a great tandem battle overall for him, and then hit the inner clip and was shallow going into the first touch and go. So now it's going to be a lead run. At this point now, I would definitely say Von has an advantage over him because he made quite a bit of mistakes while he had a very clean lead run. But, you don't win off the lead run. You can win off the chase.
Here we go. Deane out front.
So Von decides to drive in behind him instead of alongside of him. Deane's initiating at the second zone. Vaughn's waiting just a second so he can drive up onto his door.
Vaughn in tow.
As you can see, this is a great position to be in. There's about 4 feet between the cars.
Drifting at the same point.
They get on the gas at the same time. You can see Vaughn working it pretty hard while Deane is in the wall at the touch and go. Wing broken, back bumper coming off.
All the way out that touch and go.
That may have phased Vaughn just a little bit, but you can see Vaughn's about a half a car length back. Now Deane has a lot of angle. Vaughn's trying to play the catch-up game.
Big angle. Vaughn get junior.
Vaughn does a great job of catching back up and getting to his door, even with the front tires. Not quite as deep as as Deane in this point, but Vaughn was equally as far out to the judges' wall as Deane was.
Sticking it to the door. How is he going to handle
A
that?
little bit of a late transition here. As you can see, he's transitioning at this point, so he's not actually driving straight. This is in the middle of the flick where I paused. Deane's in a good spot. Vaughn's going to try to drive up into his door here.
Just let him.
And this is a problem. So Vaughn has gone to the inside too much. He scrubbed too much speed back here. So he's basically going to go to the inside of Deane pretty hard. And hit the clip and bump Deane. Vaughn doesn't actually straighten out, but obviously that contact was due to Vaughn not being able to get out as wide as Deane and driving in and actually giving him a hit. So
Slide left for Deane, and
the
there it
win's
is.
definitely going to go to Deane Kearney.
Gets the win.
All right, so we have
And here we go.
Odie and we have Peter. This is the guy who actually ended up beating me in the first battle. Very fast car, very good driver. Odie's very fast car, very good driver. You know, these are good matches for sure. They're both on Falcon tires. Odie rocking the new Falcon livery. Congrats to him. One is a 2J power plant and one is a supercharged LS power plant.
Odie Boxy's will lead. Peter.
So Odie flicks it in just after the second cone.
Check. Giving chase.
Doing a couple e-brake drags to keep his speed and momentum up, but Peter is right there, right on him, super close. This is actually a really good spot to be, back at the back tire in this section, because it allows you to drive up in the outer zone.
Peter right there on the
So
door.
Peter
Odie.
stays right on him. Look at how much angle Odie's got, and he's on the touch and go. This is fantastic lead run.
Oh, of course. Get
If you notice here, Peter's in a bad position. He's already transitioning very, very early as Odie's driving out to this wall.
out there. You saw Peter.
But Peter actually does a great job of using the handbrake and backing the car up to stay where he needs to be. That was actually a very, very good save. Odie, again, on this outer zone on fire. This is like fantastic lead run.
Transition early.
Peter staying right there on him with less angle. And looks like he gives him a little bump here.
On the door.
Super, super close. Gets choked out, has to use the brakes because otherwise he was going to get smashed into this wall when Odie transitioned.
The parts is Peter.
Oh, and he just couldn't make it happen. While Odie had a great last turn, Peter just could not get around the last turn. Did a similar setup to Vaughn. And this is reoccurring because these cars are getting so gripped up and so fast that to extend the car out to certain places gets to be very, very difficult, and you can just hang yourself. One thing that Peter could have done was go into a deeper gear and just wheel speed the heck out of it at that point, trying to get enough wheel speed to float the car out, but I think he just was already committed to where he was.
All right, here we go.
All right, Peter's going to lead, Odie
Peter
following.
Will lead from Poland.
Same point initiation as Odie, not quite as good of angle snap. Odie's driving on the inside of him to hopefully be able to get to his door and go all the way out to the
Odie
outer
Boxy's
zone.
giving chase. Look at that.
Odie just biffed that entry big time. He did like a double initiation almost, and now there's a huge gap between the two here.
Odie initiated at the same time. Peter pulling away from Odie Boxy.
And this is just a big gap here. Peter knows he needs to basically make a mockery of Odie here. Odie made that mistake, and now he's getting
Peter under the
rolled.
bridge.
It's about a 3.5 car gap here. Trying to catch up. Does not look good for Odie. Odie dives in at the last second. Able to close the gap to about 1 car. Just kicks the clipping point, inner clipping point. I have to say this is going to go to Odie if they don't do a chase run that was an incomplete because he was too far back. but he did dive in at the last second, the last turn, and kind of saved that. So I'm going to say it's going to go to Odie.
Slide him right for Bakshis. There it is.
Yep, it's
Odie
unanimous.
gets the win. Rockstar entering.
All right, so now we've got Frederick Aasbo and Kristaps, and I know you guys are going to be all up on this run because this run was definitely an interesting one. I'm going to turn the volume up on this one. So, Frederick Aasbo's leading. Kristaps is following in the BMW. Both Kristaps is in a big LS, like 460 plus cube. He's got a 4-cylinder turbo car. This is actually a Corolla IM that's rear-wheel drive. They come all-wheel drive in another country, and maybe here, I'm not sure. I did look at a Wikipedia to make sure they did come all-wheel drive. So that car is actually legal in FD because it's all-wheel drive.
Here we go.
Or it's offered in all-wheel drive. This one's rear-wheel drive.
Aasbo out front.
All right, so Aasbo flicks it in pretty hard. Second cone on initiation. Not a ton of angle, but Kristaps is right there, ready to drive right up on him. You can see Kristaps surges onto his door and then has to back off and drive up again. And Kristaps has no problem driving right back up to his door. While he was getting close to that touch and go, Kristaps stayed a little bit shallower on line and drove right up to his door. Kristaps is in a really good spot. Look at this, how gangster this is. Aasbo used the handbrake on the outer zone to back himself up past where the wall would go. If you see, he's the deepest line yet through here. That's definitely a ballsy move, but he's definitely pulling it off.
There's Kristaps.
And you can see right here, Kristaps driving very close to him, getting right up on his door. He's equally as deep on a line and angle. Fantastic follow spot.
In the gap.
And then, so you see Kristaps hit his back tire. So to me, right here, it definitely looks like Aasbo went out to the outer zone, and as he got closer, Aasbo didn't drive off the outer zone. There was a delay in time, about 1 full second, like 1 full second count. I'm sure they'll play a replay here in a second. But Kristaps ends up hitting his back wheel and giving him a bump. Aasbo drives through this clip again.
Something is amiss there. What went wrong for Kristaps?
So, obviously you hear Jared wondering what's going on there. Kristaps gets his car fixed. Aasbo is in the follow position. If they don't play another replay, I'll go back and review this again.
All right, so Kristaps.
Kristaps coming in super fast. Big flick on entry. A little bit late, but definitely has a lot of speed. Super gangster entry here, though. Drives all the way out. Misses the touch and go by a little bit, but you can see he's really starting to pull on Aasbo. Like, good angle here. Another 3 feet off this clip here, but, pulling Aasbo by quite a bit. Way off this outer zone. You can tell he just was pissed and wanted to pull away from Aasbo, because Aasbo, at least, from my vision, was playing games in the first run. So you can see this is more of just an anger burnout run.
Kristaps' car.
Aasbo's kind of nowhere to be found. Got a car back in the last turn. Just an okay follow, nothing crazy, minimal. So this is where we vary, and I'm going to go back to this first run here so we can take a look at it again. So gets out to the touch and go, a little bit shallow. That's not really what I'm talking about. Let's do a little listen here for Aasbo's car.
And there's Kristaps, closing the gap.
Right there. After he was already hit, that little bitch got on the gas. He waited forever. So, just watch one more time. That's an on-throttle zone. It's an outer zone. Like, you have to be on the gas.
And there's Kristaps.
On the gas. Watch here in the outer zone, and then watch in this general area right here when he actually gets onto the gas. The car goes, whoom, and rocket ships off. So from here to here, he's off throttle.
Closing the gap.
Boom! Like, literally, you can hear his car come off the clutch right there. God, I gotta listen to this again.
And there's Kristaps.
So, off on the gas. You literally hear his wastegate open as he's hitting him.
Stop spins!
So, I deem that as total bullshit, and Aasbo should have lost because he was playing games. And if he does that in front of me, I would have taken that car, drove over to where he was turning around, and T-boned the shit out of him. I cannot believe that he got away with that.
Something is amiss there. What?
So, a little background. After this run, or after the second run, Kristaps went over to Aasbo and told him he was a little bitch. He was mad about it. Aasbo, covered it up with whatever bullshit he wanted to say, but that was totally Aasbo playing games right there. Or, and I'm going to use this loosely, if he wasn't playing games, he was making a big mistake. And when you make a big mistake and the person behind you hits you because of it, it should be your fault for making the mistake. So I disagree with this call. They do end up giving it to Aasbo unanimously because they viewed Kristaps' mistake on him and not on this guy right here. Stop doing that, asshole.
There it is, Frederick Aasbo.
I get so bummed out when people do that. Like, he's such a nice guy in person, and then on the track he just does stupid crap all the time.
Gets the victory.
It's just
Who
wrong.
was at fault?
There's no way he makes that many mistakes. He's such a good driver. He's like amazing driver. There's just no way he makes that many mistakes during tandem battles. All right, so on to the next one. We have Alex Hilbrun and Juha Rintanen. This is E46 with a supercharged huge cube V8, and he's on a large 2J stroked S15.
So already into the grade 8.
All right, so here we go. We got Alex throwing it in a little bit shallow. He's going to roll into the angle here at the second outer.
He's going to be joining him.
Couple E-brakes. Juha's in a good position right here.
Alex Hilbrun, Juha Rintanen.
Gets rolled a little bit coming out of this turn. That's about 2-car gap. Hilbrun's off the touch and go by quite a bit, and Juha is got a lot of angle and falling back a little bit.
Good initiative.
This is gangster. Back of the car off on the outer zone number 2, even wider than Aasbo was in the last
Alex,
run.
look at that exploding his back bumper.
Juha is got angle and trying to close on Alex.
Juha Rintanen applying the
Doesn't
pressure.
quite do it. Juha dives into the last turn, nicks that inner clip, but finishes door to door. Great effort from Juha on the last turn. Alex had an amazing lead run.
850 horsepower.
All right, switching roles. Juha leading.
Alex Hilbrun giving chase.
Great initiation from Alex, and Juha is low angle here, and Alex is kind of trapped. So let's see how this goes. He has to do a double initiation and get a little bit wobbly here. This is going to make it very hard to make this second outer zone. Juha is off the touch and go by about 4 feet.
Some shimming there as he goes.
Boom! Flicks, hits the wall pretty good, removes a little bit of angle. Oh, drive straight. Alex is closing, staying back a little bit, knowing that Juha made a mistake. Alex is very heads-up driver, rips super hard, finishes with a lot of angle. So this is a tough one. Juha definitely had a pretty large mistake, so I'm going to end up pushing it over to Alex. But the lead and follow runs were pretty even. If he wouldn't have driven straight at that one section, I think that he would have actually gotten a one more time, or possibly even a win due to Alex's mistake in the first turn.
Rintanen and Alex Hilbrun slide him.
But it's going to go unanimous to Alex
the win.
Hilbrun.
This James Deane,
Fantastic run.
Really
All right, so we've got James Deane on
a
the
lot of noise here.
lead position, Mike Essa on the
Go,
follow.
James Deane, Michael Essa.
Essa just gets rolled on the straightaway. Like, he's done. He's gone. Like, there's already a car gap on initiation. James is initiating at that second cone. Throws it in, staying a little bit wider than most. Gets on throttle, kicks it out wide, 2 feet off, 4.5 off the touch and go. Essa is about a car length back. He gets the wall here at the first outer zone. Essa is very shallow. Awesome lead run from James Deane. Essa dives in at this last second for a Hail Mary. Oh, almost pulls it off, but ends up spinning. Obviously, huge advantage to James Deane. He had the great lead run while Essa had a spin. Essa does a big flick on initiation. James Deane's right there on him. James Deane's way shallow here. This is an ugly spot to be in. So is Essa. He is 6 feet off the touch and go. But right on the outer zone 1 with lots of angle, and James Deane gets hidden in the smoke here, pulls out some angle to catching up to him.
recalculated there.
James Deane. Let's go back and watch this one section right here. Take a look at James Deane.
So
Let's make sure he's not driving straight.
A little bit of room.
Ooh, little bobble there.
There.
But Essa has a mistake in the last turn, hitting the inner clip. So this one definitely goes to James Deane, or the Stig.
It's unanimous. James Deane gets the victory. James. Ken Gushi.
All right, so now we have Chris Forsberg and Ken Gushi. Get a little drink of water there. All right, Ken Gushi is in the 2JZ-powered FRS, while Chris is in a VK-powered 370Z. He was having some issues with his turbo car. I recently just got to drive that car, the turbo one, and did more laps than he's ever done in it, to be honest. It was kind of interesting. He was too busy doing a video shoot, and some other things that he had to handle. So he just, since I'm local, they met me at the track. We did some laps in it and shook it down. Fantastic car. But this is the car he won the championship in last year. Actually, let me rephrase that. This is Jeff Stonebeck's car, but it's set up how he won the championship last year. So let's see what we got here.
So here we go. Forsberg out of the chute. Back behind the wheel.
Chris giving all those shifts on the straightaway. Initiates in at the second cone. Good flick. Gushi's right there on him. Look at this. This is amazing. Gushi's actually over the rumble strips on the inside, but this is a great lead.
Ready to go, Forsberg.
Has some wobbles here because he was so inside. He's having trouble getting out to the outer zone. Chris was about 2 feet off there at his closest point. Gushi's in a bad spot on the inside, but hits the brakes, transitions. Sick save. This is amazing save. I'm going to play this again. Gets choked up, has some wobbles, brakes, transitions, boom, right back on him again. Super great tandem follow. Little wobble behind him, gets a little gapped on the transition, but drives right back on him again. Backs the car up around the clip. That was an amazing run for both of them. Ken Gushi really showing that he knows how to fix his mistakes out there and do a fantastic job of covering them up. Chris just has a good lead run. Similar to how his qualifying would have been.
Gushi out front.
All right, Gushi chucks it in at the second cone a little bit later. Chris is right there waiting. Stays right there on him, close on the transition. He was shallow on touch and go, but very, very close on the outer zone one. And Chris was shallow on there, but diving up much smoother than Ken Gushi was. Dives in, super close, gets around the last turn. So this is a tough battle to judge. So I just saw that, and I really didn't want to see it. But what I'm saying here is Chris's run was not... I would say his follow run was not as baller as Ken's run, but Ken had more mistakes. So while he was further off all the zone, Ken had a lot of driver error. So, as far as mistakes, Ken Gushi had more. As far as how close and how aggressive the follow run was, I think that Ken had a little bit more there. But as far as smoothness, Chris Forsberg definitely gets that. So knowing how they judge and knowing how the rules are written and whatnot, this would go to Chris Forsberg in my eyes.
For Forsberg, Brian, and there it is. It's unanimous. Chris, the Forsberg.
And I think he definitely just got the win because he was smoother. His lead run was a little bit better, just marginally. But Ken just had those bobbles that just
gets the victory. Chris is unfortunately.
All right, Ryan Tuerck, 2J FRS, and Justin Pawlak in the Coyote Supercharged Mustang. A little bit of a weak initiation from Tuerck there. Justin just snaps it right to angle and drives right up on him. A little bit of a bobble from Justin, but Ryan was not on the outer touch and go as well.
Pawlak diving in.
You can see Tuerck is getting out to the zone. Justin is a little shallow, but staying close.
Justin Pawlak right there.
This is an amazing spot to be in. You can see Justin's right behind his front wheels, about a foot off of the car. Falls back in the transition, but drives right back up to his door and just gets choked out again. We're seeing this repetitively. It's all in the transition, If you see back here, you can tell he's going to do it because he transitions too early. and dives into the inside here and just doesn't have enough speed to make it around this clip while Ryan finishes his run as you're supposed to with a solid run. All right, so Justin lead, Ryan chase.
All right, here we go. Here is Justin Pawlak out front, Ryan Tuerck giving chase.
Justin has a great little fall to angle initiation, while Tuerck is about a full car back, less angle. Now he's about 2 cars back.
Justin Pawlak, see if he has that snappy, nasty transition.
Great transition through there from Justin. He was a little off on the touch and go. Ryan's in a good spot right now. Staying right there on him. A lot of bobbles, though. Like, not looking good in that follow spot, while Justin's pouring the angle on about 4 feet off the judge's wall.
Big angle from Pawlak on the outside zone. Ryan Tuerck.
Tuerck's going to come into this last turn, not hit the inner clip, and drive up onto his door. So I got to give this one to Ryan. Justin had a great lead run, but Ryan had a decent lead run, but a better follow.
Right
so it's just got to go to Tuerck.
And there it is. Ryan Tuerck gets the victory. Oh.
All right, so Matt Coffman in the lead, Roush Yates V8, and Matt Field in the chase with a supercharged and nitrous big block LS. I'm sorry, big cube LS. Coffman, great initiation, throws it in. Matt Field staying about a car back through here. Coffman about 8 feet off that outer touch and go. Matt staying pretty close, but having a big mistake here. See, Coffman has a lot of angle. Field has low angle. Kaufman just reeling in the angle the whole lap, just driving pretty aggressive. Matt Field dives in on the last turn, scoops around that clip so that he doesn't run it over like everyone else. Okay follow from Matt Field, but great lead run from Coffman other than the touch and go.
The victories in both Texas and
switch spots,
the final 2 rounds
and it's
of
Matt
last
Field
year's
leading, Coffman following. Field has a decent initiation, stretches Field or Coffman by a little bit. Same type of deal. Field was a little bit closer to the outer touch and go, but Coffman a little bit further inside, similar to the last run.
Good execution.
Similar amounts of angle here. Matt had less angle in this, or I'm sorry, Coffman has more angle than Matt in this spot, while Field has less angle overall than Coffman had. Lots of bobbles from Matt Field in the lead run. Seems like he's having motor troubles here, which is verified later in the day. Coffman staying right up on him, matching the angle, staying closer, able to dive right in and get right on his door. So for this run, it's definitely a close battle. It could be a one more time, but I'm going to lean this towards Matt Coffman. Just had more angle and a better run overall.
And Brian says Coffman. Ryan says, oh, Andy says one more time. And Ryan says, Matt Coffman gets the win. Matt, they're in different teams.
I knew Matt would win in that battle. All right, so now we got Odie and Deane Kearney.
All right, so here we go. This is Odie Bakshis out front. And Deane Kearney.
All right, Odie throws it in a little bit shallow, not as much angle as I'd like to see, but driving in well. Deane is right there on him, staying on the inside after that hit in the last run. Big gap right here going into the touch and go. Odie about 2 feet off. Deane closing the gap, staying very close now, leaving about a car gap, but matching angle the entire time. Odie having a good lead run, but nicks the clip, allowing Deane to kind of scoop in there. Like, if you notice, Deane would have definitely charged that clip, but Odie knocked it out of the way for him. So decent follow from Deane, smooth, no issues there. Okay lead run from Odie, but nailing that inner clip is not what you want to do. All right, Deane throws it in with a big flick. Odie's right there on him. Deane gets out to the touch and go, closer than Odie was. Big flick and transition from Deane Kearney, throwing in the style. Good angle. Matt's right there. I'm sorry. Odie's right there on him, charging into Deane's door. Finishing this run very, very good. Deane nicks that inner clip. It's definitely a close battle. On this one, I just have to give it to Odie. I'm sorry. Wait a second. Back that up. I don't have to give it to Odie. I have to give it to Deane. Deane had a great lead run, better than Odie's lead run, and his follow was a about equal with Odie's, but his lead run I just feel is better.
Bakshish. And there it goes. Brian says Odie. Ryan says one more time. And Andy says one more time.
Looks like they're going to go one more time. I guess Deane's lead run wasn't as good as I stated. It was about equal with what Odie did. So I definitely can understand that. There might have been something that I missed as far as going over it. Here's one more time. We got Odie throwing it in. Again with that kind of like weird initiation, multiple handbrakes, while Deane has just dived in, stuck right to him. Look at this. Deane is doing a fantastic job. Odie's got a great lead run, making it very nice for Deane to follow, but this is a great spot. They are literally mirror image. Great transition. Odie's going to be off that by about 3 feet. So same with Deane, but Deane's following the angle and following the line perfect. This is a textbook follow run. Just a great follow run. Doesn't get lost in the smoke. Gets pulled a little bit. You can see, here we go again, like maybe going to hit this inner clip. Diving in. Hopefully you can get around it. Oh, just nicks that inner clip out of the way. So that's going to be a great follow run on the last from Deane, and a good run from Odie as in the lead. He just Deane just nicked that inner clip at the last turn.
You see him through the start chicane. Kearney.
Deane with a nice initiation. What is Odie doing? I don't even. He's like on the inside of him. Boom! All the way out to that touch and go. Almost all the way out to that outer zone, but then E-brakes it to back it up even more. Odie's way on the inside, not quite following the line. This is a really good spot now. Odie's doing a great job. Deane's right there. Oh my goodness, great chase run by Odie there. Fantastic. So this is going to go one more time again. It's going to go.
Ryan says Odie Bakshish, and Andy says...
Oh, it goes to Odie. That follow run from Odie was just a little bit better than Deane's. I could see that, but I felt that Deane's lead run was better, so it could have gone one more time. But the judges ended up giving it to Odie. I do see where they could give it to Odie because of his last 2 turns in his follow run were better than Deane's, because Deane had to stretch the handbrake into the last turn to make it around. But I do feel that Deane's lead run was better by enough that it could have done it one more time, especially because Odie's first turn was just not good in the follow position. So in my eyes, it was going to be a one more time. I do agree with this judge for sure. I can see, though, why Odie got the win. They weighted those spots heavier where Odie was doing well. Yeah, I mean, in my eyes, it was one more time, but, you know, we can we could argue and depict it all day. You know, the judges get more camera angles in this, so maybe there was something that I didn't see. But yeah, looking at how they judged it out, I wouldn't say Deane won. You know, again, I wouldn't really say Odie won, but I could see how through the last 2 turns, Odie did a much better job in the follow.
Alex, he could really apply the pressure here, too.
All right, so here we go. We got Aasbo leading and Alex Hilbrun following. Great entry from Frederick Aasbo. Alex does a great job initiating as well, staying about a car back. Getting some wobble there as Frederick puts it on the wall at full lock. That's pretty wild. Big flick from Aasbo there, looking super confident in the car. Hilbrun right there on him, staying very, very close. Great follow from Hilbrun. Gets a little gap there, but is able to get around that last turn pretty solid. So, you know, amazing lead run from Frederick Aasbo and a decent chase from Alex. Had some bobbles, had some corrections, but overall pretty decent follow. But a mega lead run from Aasbo. All right, so Hilbrun's going to lead. Aasbo's going to follow. Hilbrun throws it in, gets on the gas. You can see Aasbo's right there on him, and now all of a sudden Hilbrun got on the gas. He's pulling away pretty quickly. All the way out to the touch and go, similar to how Aasbo was. Slightly less angle, but even deeper than Aasbo. Up over the last touch and go. Way more gangster flick. Look at this. Massive. Aasbo is like getting choked out almost. Huge lead run from Alex Hilbrun. Aasbo getting gapped in a few spots, dives into the last turn. Aasbo finishes the last run super, super strong. Man, that's a really tough one. I would have to one more time this. That was a pretty gnarly battle.
And Brian says Aasbo. Ryan says one more time, and Andy says...
There you go, the one more time. Both had great lead runs and decent follow runs. You can tell that Alex's car is faster than Frederick's car, and Frederick is doing an okay gameplay of pouring in tons of angle and doing a super gangster lead run because he knows that Alex's car is faster and he may choke up behind him. That's not a negative on Aasbo. I think that that's the way you should do it. You know, if you know the guy's maybe faster than you, then you need to kill him with angle and gangsterness. So I'm with Aasbo on that last run. Looked really good. Definitely was a one more time because Alex's lead run was violent. It was gangster. It got out to all the zones, quick flicks, drove straight at the wall. It was dangerous looking and definitely a solid run. All right, so Frederick Aasbo is going to lead. Again, pretty good entry from Aasbo, dragging it a little bit longer than the last time, but Alex is right there in a great spot. Aasbo pulls him a little bit through here, Alex, but Alex is gaining. Less angle than the last run from Frederick, but on that touch and go pretty well. Drives out to the outer zone. Oof! And Alex Hilbrun dives way to the inside and gets choked out, but then drives right back to his door. So good follow run from Hilbrun. Great lead run from Aasbo. But I don't know how they're going to judge that dive in coming out of the outer zone 1 that Hilbrun had to do.
All right, so
let's take a look here again. Hilbrun's going to lead. Big gangster flick while Aasbo is driving in. Gets gapped a little bit, hits the outer touch and go, a little bit off on outer zone 1, but backs in, and ooh, it looks like Aasbo drives straight there. Let's see what we got here. Oh, drive straight, 100%. Oh, Alex doing a great lead run, a little bit off on that judge's tower. Now you can tell Aasbo's pretty pissed off. Alex mows the clip, but I just don't think it's enough. I think that they're going to give the win to Alex Hilbrun.
Ryan says Alex Hilbrun, and Andy says...
Bam! Alex Hilbrun gets the win, takes out the bitch. All right, James Deane and Chris Forsberg both have similar driving styles. This will be a great run. Initiates in second zone. James Deane looking good. Chris nice and tidy on him. Chris getting pulled a little bit, so he removes some angle and drives right up onto his door. Super, super close. Oh my God, James with a gangster flick into the outer zone. Chris staying about a car back, very, very close and calculated. One of the closest through here I've seen yet from Chris. Diving in, getting around, just nudging that clip. I won't count that. I don't think the judges will either. Great lead run from James Deane and a great chase from Chris Forsberg. Here we go again. Chris Forsberg leading James. Chris throws it in. Pretty snappy entry. Oh, man. Chris gets hit by James Deane on initiation. Let's see this one more time. Watch the back of Chris's car. Boop, boop. So hits the front, then the back. James is in a great spot, though. Driving in super close. Lots of left foot braking because he's getting choked up by Chris. Chris's line is thrown off because of the hit. Transitions a little bit off. He's trying to fix his line here. You can see he's working hard. Even though he got hit, he didn't bitch out like other drivers would have. He's actually trying to make it out to those zones still, even though his line was heavily thrown off in the first turn. By now, he's fixed it all. Out to the outer zone. A little bit of abrupt stall there from Chris, but James Deane stays right on him. Later note for this, Chris's car did jump out of gear in that spot. They showed in-car video that was actually shot by BC Racing. Chris's car jumped out of gear, and he immediately shoved it back in gear and went going again. But, you know, for this, I got to give the win to James Deane. Knowing that Chris made the shift mistake or his car jumped out of gear, that is his fault, not James. James did hit him in the first turn, but Chris was not really super disrupted by the run, and I don't know that the judges saw that. So if the judges deemed that hit affecting to Chris's lead run, and that's why Chris lost, then I would see this being a one more time. But I know that they didn't, and James Deane's going to get the win, probably unanimously. Yep, there you go. All right, so now we got Ryan Tuerck and Matt Coffman. Tuerck is going to throw it in here. Pretty gangster angle, gets on the throttle very early. Coffman is right there where he needs to be, right on him, super close. Has a little bobble, doesn't quite make it out to the outer zone. I think he got choked up by Ryan's initiation, and now he's a little bit shallow, but pretty good save. Great lead run from Ryan right out on the outer zone. Coffman is right there, falls back a little bit, but then dives in the last turn, gives Tuerck a little bump, and shuts down. Tuerck actually stayed in the gas there, so Ryan should have just dumped the clutch. I'm sorry. Tuerck stayed in the gas to the last turn after Coffman hit him, so Coffman should have just blazed back on the gas, but it seemed like he let off. Maybe you got a little scared, or maybe something had happened to the car. All right, Coffman lead, Tuerck following. Tuerck way over on the inside, does a flick out to him. Big gap though, but then closes it up pretty well. Look at Coffman on that touch and go with big angle. Ryan's way on the inside here, getting choked up a little bit. Has to use the brake and the handbrake. Great lead run from Coffman. A little off here if I had to depict it, but very smooth. Lots of angle. I'd like to see what happened here again. Watch Coffman. Has a little bobble there. Throws Tuerck off a little bit. But Tuerck dives in and is able to finish the run. Coffman had it incomplete on the first lap, so it's definitely going to go to Ryan. Good effort from Coffman, though, for sure. Top four, it's going to be James Deane leading Ryan Tuerck. James Deane with that double handbrake flick, that's pretty deep. Ryan Tuerck about a car and a half back. Boom, James Deane all the way out on that touch and go. Big flick, all the way out on the outer zone. Ryan right there on him, though, about a car back, doing a great job following. Smooth transition to the last turn, and stays about a car from James Deane the entire lap. Great lead run from James Deane, and about a car back follow from Ryan Tuerck the whole lap. Ryan Tuerck's going to have to turn it up in this run to get a gangster lead. Let's see what he does. A little bit of a slow, shallow initiation while James Deane is right there on him. Ryan a little bit off on that touch and go. A little bit off on that outer zone, so already not quite as good as a lead run as James Deane. James Deane staying about... Oh, that was really, really good. That's one of the first ones I've seen. Ryan actually goes all the way out and touches the judges' wall. James Deane right there on him. Diving into the last turn. Textbook follow through the last turn. That was an amazing follow. It's definitely going to go to James Deane.
Who's going to the finals? And it's James Deane is going to the finals.
All right, Alex Hilbrun and Odie. Alex going to throw it in here with a pretty good flick. Couple handbrake drags, pretty normal. Odie's right there on him and gets rolled coming out of that zone. Odie pulls some angle out to catch up to Alex. Alex is boom on that wall again. Pieces falling off of his car. Odie doing a great job following, staying right there on him, right in front of the smoke. Great transition timing, best of the weekend there from Odie, and right there on Alex. Let's watch this transition one more time. There's been a lot of soft transitions here. Odie right on him with lots of angle, not diving in, just staying right there on him. Great follow from Odie. All right, Odie in the lead, Alex following. Odie getting some good speed, throwing in. They throw it at the same point of the track, same time. Alex maybe even earlier, but this is great. Great tandem spot right here. Alex staying right on him, driving right out to Zort, getting the touch and go, Odie. Flicking back. Oh my goodness, that was close. Alex almost rips the front of his car off on the back of Odie's. So close. Great follow from Alex. Great transition in the last turn again. Get around that clip. Oh, he nicks the inner clip. What a wild battle that was. So this is going to be a one more time in my eyes. That was just a great run.
Ryan says Odie Bachis, and Andy says
One more time. If Alex wouldn't have hit that inner clip on the last turn, he would have got the win. All right. Alex in the lead run, Odie following. Alex in the jam right now. Good angle. Odie right there on him. Very close. Boom! Touches the touch and go. Boom! All the way out to outer. Odie right there on him, pulling some angle out, but to get up on him. Ooh, Odie washes out wide. Whoa, man! Odie made that happen. I gotta watch it again. Alright, so Odie pulling some angle out to get on him. Look at Alex's line right here. Just like way buried out there. And Odie trying to get out there as well, makes a mistake, washes way out wide. I don't even know what just happened there. Odie made it work though. Super wacky line. I gotta give the advantage to Alex on that run. Super gangster lead run. Odie doing a great job in the follow, but that real wonky line there. Alex right there on him, much closer in this first turn. Oh, Odie tapping the wall. Getting a little offline, but fixing it quickly. Getting way out there. Alex staying very close. Oh, super amazing transition in the last turn. Driving right up on him. I got to give this one to Alex Hilbrun. Boom. For sure. Final run here. We got James Deane and Alex Hilbrun. James Deane's going to throw it in. That triple handbrake drag. Look at Alex just attacking on it. Staying very close. Look at that. Almost at the touch and go. And Alex is right there with him at the touch and go. Transition. Oh, bobble there from Alex Hilbrun. James Deane doing a great lead run. Alex doing a good job chasing, but just a little bit sloppy. Diving into this last turn. Great follow run, I gotta say. Amazing lead run. Great follow run. Just had that bobble coming through the first outer zone. Alex Hilbrun throwing it in. This is for the win. And James Deane is glued to him. Hilbrun doing a great lead run. Amazing. Oh, touching the judge's wall. James cannot be shooken. Right there on him. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Oh man. What a sick finish that was. Great run, but it's going to have to go to James Deane. He had that better follow run. Good for you, James. Stoked. Look at him crying like a little bitch. I love it. I got goosebumps. I know what that feels like, and it's an amazing feeling. It's got to feel even greater coming from Ireland, not driving FD for a while, and just smashing the first run. Good runs from everyone, but James Deane definitely finished that run on top. So that's the review from FD Long Beach 2017. Congrats to James Deane, as well as Alex Hilbrun. Both of them drove super hard. Great runs. I was starting in the top 16 to top 8 battles. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of silly stuff going on. I was kind of watching in the stands because I was obviously knocked out. And, I was like, man, the driving here is just not really that great. And then top 8 turned up, and it was just nuts. People were driving just insane. Alex Hilbrun, just insane runs every lap. James Deane, tons of angle on every zone, not making many mistakes. It's just also Odie Bachis, he was also doing really, really well. Everybody just turned it up in top 8. Everybody was getting in the groove. Cars were getting faster. Drivers were getting more comfortable. You got to realize that while you guys see a lot of testing videos the week before Long Beach, most people only get to run about 10 to 16 tires of testing, which is like 10 or 16 laps. And then they're going back and finishing their cars or fixing anything. So a lot of these guys don't get the testing that they need. And when they do, they're not getting it on a real FD track. And these tracks are very complicated, They may not look as if they are, complicated because like Long Beach is 3 turns. But that's a very, very hard track to drive and set up a car for. So you really do see progressing through the day that these drivers are getting better and better. There's also no Thursday practice at Long Beach, so you miss out on 4 hours of driving that you would normally get. So these guys got to dial it in quickly. You can really see towards the end of the event when people are getting comfortable and ripping pretty hard. So again, thanks to, or congrats to James Deane. Fantastic job. Really didn't make many mistakes all weekend, so that puts you on top. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe and share the knowledge that I'm giving you guys to try to make Formula Drift and competitive drifting a more positive environment, and I really appreciate you guys spending the time to watch it.